Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first and foremost, I do want to address the fact that the market is, dropping down in price. A lot of things have been happening in just the last couple, hours. We have watched a few altcoins kind of get a little bit destroyed in regards to price action, but that is okay. I actually welcome it. A few tokens are actually up right now, like Algorand, and even XRP is up a little bit. But if you do go down, and by the way, this is on the 1 hour. I'm using the 1 hour right now just to kind of see which ones are moving the strongest in terms of the top 100. But if you go and look at the 24-hour span, there's not a lot of gains at all, but there's a ton of losses in this market. I have been looking at a few tokens. I think Ethereum Classic is actually pretty interesting right now after the Ethereum merge. I am looking at Ethereum Classic quite a bit, as well as a few other OG, legacy tokens. But for the most part, a lot of this, market is getting decimated currently, which I welcome. Like I said, I have been DCAing in. I just recently bought QNT. I bought Energy Web token. I also am buying Casper. Am I buying XRP? Not right now. Most of my buys on XRP have been below 30 cents, but I have been accumulating some other gems. Remember, XRP is always like a last mover. I have, averaged in though during the summertime. I was averaging in quite a bit on XRP, so a lot of my targets on XRP have already been met in regards to my buy signals on it. So I'm not buying XRP right now. Do I think that it is a bad opportunity at all to buy it currently? No, not at all. Honestly, if I don't hold that much XRP, I would be averaging into XRP, especially with how much news we have, been seen around the settlement. So I thought that was interesting to mention. But with all of this in mind, I am going to be talking to you guys about the scary truth behind CBDCs today, and I want to start with this tweet here because the United States is officially ready on a CBDC. Just in, the White House says a US CBDC has the potential to offer significant benefits. They never really kind of give you insights on these benefits. Most of them are, things that crypto could, offer at the current moment in time. We don't really need a CBDC. I've always said a CBDC in regards to like the retail sector is absolutely idiotic. Anyone that is supporting a CBDC from a retail standard just does not understand the idea behind them. I do support a wholesale CBDC just because that is the central banks, only utilizing it. But the problem with that is that if they do adopt it into the central banks, ultimately it will flood into the retail sector as well. And we do see over here, a digital dollar may seem far-fetched, but it is not beyond the realm of possibility. Today, the Biden-Harris administration published policy objectives and a technical analysis for a potential U.S. central bank digital currency. In tech policy, it's vital to understand how technical design choices and policy priorities affect each other. Our report goes deep into the technical weeds to show how ones and zeros can affect people and values. We hope this report will help both U.S. and international policymakers with their assessments of central bank digital currencies. We encourage you to also read the broader range of reports from across the federal government, collectively forming a whole of government approach on digital assets. Now, the issue with this is, listen, I'm all for technological advancement and innovation, but CBDCs are just not the move. I've talked about this on many occasions. If you do support a central bank digital currency from a retail standard, I just think that you are a little bit misinformed on it. I've never supported a retail CBDC. Wholesale CBDCs, like I said, I do support that narrative simply because that only is the central banks being disrupted by that. But like I said, it also runs the risk that, listen, if they're utilizing it, it will most likely leak into the retail sector, and then they will do it all at once, and we will all be running on a CBDC. Now, the problem with this, and the biggest issue that I always have with it, is control. We do see over here, shout out to Darren Feinstein on Twitter, but these are just a few examples and analogies about a central bank digital currency. CBDCs, purchase denied. You have consumed your quota of real meat this month. Please try meat substitute from vegan shelf. Purchase denied. Your voting records show that you did not participate in the latest polls. Accounts will be reinstated in 72 hours or after completion of polls. Like, this is the idea of control beyond it. And I really do think that like central bank digital currencies do give full control of central banks and these major government entities to control your everyday life. Listen, we kind of already live in a society where we're mostly controlled by money aspects. You have to, meet a certain amount of money a month to afford to live in your house or your apartment. You have to make a certain amount of money to, feed yourself and your family, etc. Like all of these things are kind of controlled by monetary purposes already. But, for the most part, you could still kind of live your day-to-day life being, mostly free. But a few of these things would completely take control of your life. Like, for an example, I know that there's a lot of individuals out there that do have a little bit of a, sort of free spirit in them. A lot of these are kind of centered around, just, going out, having fun, doing whatever you want. Like, for an example, like even this one, CBDCs, purchase denied. This is your fourth alcoholic beverage this week. Your social score currently only allows for 4. Please try a non-alcoholic substitute. Purchase denied. You do not have an approval for organic items this month. Please buy only from the Monsanto aisle. Sorry. And yeah, I mean, like, this is the base point behind it. It's just kind of controlling every single aspect of life. It is a big issue. To me personally, is it going to be this, far in regards to control? Nobody really knows. All we know is that from the World Economic Forum, if you actually read their 2015 PDF file, it kind of talks about this, how nearly everything will be digital, everything will be controlled. You will have a digital ID. You will have, some sort of idea like this in regards to, a quota, in regards to, like, what you can and can't do with your money, what you can and can't do, just in general. For an example, like even they're talking about social media posts and things like that. Like, that is the problem with CBDCs, is just the full control aspect. And we even do see over here, always understand, know what you hold. Now, in this video, I will say there's a few things that I do want to debunk in this video, but it is talking about central bank digital currencies. And listen closely to this.
I'm pretty skeptical. I keep asking anybody at the Fed or outside of the Fed to explain to me what problem this is solving. I can send anybody in this room $5 with Venmo right now. Right? No, seriously. So what is it that a CBDC could do that Venmo can't do? And all I get is a bunch of hand waving. I get a bunch, well, maybe it's better for financial inclusion. Maybe it's better for cross-border remittances. Maybe. Is there any evidence that it is? And, they say, well, what about China? China's doing it. Well, I can see why China would do it. If they want to monitor every one of your transactions, you could do that with the central bank digital currency. You can't do that with Venmo. If you want to impose negative interest rates, you could do that with the central bank digital currency. You can't do that with Venmo. And if you want to directly tax customer accounts, you could do that with the central bank digital currency. You can't do that with Venmo. So I get why China would be interested. Why would the American people be for that?
And I do just want to debunk one thing. He does mention Venmo, basically talking about the problem that Venmo is solving. The issue here is that, at the end of the day, Venmo doesn't solve much. Yeah, you can send, money almost instantaneous with Venmo, but it's still pre-approved payments. Now, Venmo did adopt in like the on-demand liquidity, mechanism from Ripple. Yeah, that would solve a lot of problems. I mean, you would be able to tap into digital assets, you will be able to tap into on-demand liquidity, and you wouldn't have to rely on pre-approved payments, which it is still reliant on. This is the issue with PayPal as well. A lot of these digitized payment processing apps or digitized apps in general around payments, they're just still very inefficient compared to what we are seeing with crypto. Obviously, we don't need a CBDC. In my opinion, I think that CBDCs are, here to try to disrupt what crypto is becoming and what crypto is building. It's a major take on a digital CeFi operation. They do see the issues with DeFi. It's taking control away from the centralized, governments and the centralized aspects around monetary policy. But when you look at like CBDCs on the broad view, like, sure, it looks like it's, decentralized. Nobody's really kind of controlling them. You have full control of your digital money, but that is not the case at all. There's a very dark viewpoint on CBDCs right now, and I do believe that they are not the move. I would not be supporting a CBDC here. Now, a lot of people have asked me, all right, well, what do you, think will happen if CBDCs do get, ushered in and adopted in, and what do you think, where do you think XRP lies within that? Well, XRP could still very well be utilized within a CBDC, mechanism. For an example, Matt Hamilton, who previously did work at Ripple. We do see XRP is not a company. XRP is not a cryptocurrency that lives on a decentralized, permissionless, is a cryptocurrency that lives on a decentralized, permissionless, open blockchain. So a central bank cannot control XRP, which may be why they prefer a CBDC instead. But XRP still useful as a bridge currency between CBDCs. And yes, I do think that this is the case. I think that this is also why central banks are not utilizing, cryptocurrency, because they can't control it. These central banks do want full control. That's the major issue behind even the SEC's motives, is just control. They don't want something that they can't control in terms of like monetary policy and monetary, issuance. This is why I also say, like, with a DLT, within crypto, sure, you could still issue CBDCs on a DLT. You have a public and private ledger basis on DLT technology, which is still very reliant for, central banks to actually control in regards to a private CBDC. But the problem here is it's the idea on, like, okay, well, here you're holding a digital asset and, all of a sudden it's worth X amount of dollars and you want to sell and a CBDC's out, will they even let you sell? Will they even let you, make money off of that? Like, that's the biggest issue here that I see. We don't know what's going to be happening around central bank digital currencies. All we know is that the motives behind them is all for control. And I really do think that it is a very scary, initiative. Everyone is extremely uncertain on this. But I will say this. We are moving towards the go live area on central bank digital currencies around the world. I shared with you guys this back in August. I made a video on this as well, and I told you guys this is their plan. Step 1, tell us inflation is transitory. Step 2, watch inflation rage. Step 3, tell us inflation was not transitory. Step 4, tell us we will have a soft landing. Step 5, watch the everything bubble burst. And then step 6, introduce a central bank digital currency. I would say that we're anywhere between step 4 to 6, maybe even on step 5. But the issue with this that I see is the fact that at the end of the day, they are trying to destroy this traditional market and usher us into this digital market centered around these CBDCs. And it is a big concern. I think that everyone should also be very concerned for this, especially if you are in crypto or even outside of crypto. And I do think that these central bank digital currencies are definitely not the move. And, a lot of areas around the world are already kind of moving towards this. Remember, going back to February, Russia did say that they will be testing their digital ruble. In the future, Russia's central bank plans to introduce the possibility of paying in places without using the internet using CBDCs. They have been moving quickly. And honestly, ever since this tweet back in February, we've seen a lot of moves from Russia, especially with the blocks or the BRICS nations with the China bloc. If you guys did miss that, you could look into a few things around China. For an example, there was a liquidity crisis that was happening and it still is going on. And from there, we did see a few major updates around the SCO bloc, which is over here. The SCO bloc agrees to expand trade in national currencies, and Turkey is looking to be the first NATO member to join the China-led bloc. 25% of Russian gas supplies to Turkey will be paid for in rubles. BRICS also expects Turkey to join. Turkey's central bank's gold reserves at a 2-year high. This is the big area that we have been focused on, the BRICS nations, because they have been moving very fast on this. And Turkey has been, targeting cooperation, in Shanghai, cooperation organization. Things continue to move quickly. I mean, Turkey right now looks like they will be moving into the BRICS nations, and Russia has been moving very fast in regards to CBDCs. China has also been very, fast on this as well. I will say this. Things in regards to the CBDC aspect may be too far already in regards to development and updates for it to actually not happen. I think that the future right now is looking pretty dark around monetary policy, monetary restrictions. There's a lot of areas around the world right now that are revolting against this. We have to wait and see what really is going to be happening within the next few months. But I will say this, by 2023, I do think that CBDCs and the entire monetary policy of the world is going to change rapidly in terms of like a digital aspect. And we've been watching the World Economic Forum on this as well. They have been promoting a lot of things in regards to the digital aspect. I will say this. it is a scary future right now in regards to CBDCs and crypto. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.